exploited people of the world. Third, the Biden administration must immediately stop interfering in the internal affairs of the other countries, including Afghanistan and Korea, and pull out of U.S. troops deployed around us, even though the U.S. has pulled out $2.261 trillion on the war in Afghanistan for 20 years, ended up with a catastrophic defeat. Above all, the death toll from the war has exceeded 240,000, and the number of Afghani refugees who have not returned since 2012 reached 5 million. It is the practical lesson and the truth of the worldwide struggle against the U.S. and imperialists that the survival and development of the people of the world cannot be absolutely guaranteed as long as there are U.S. forces stationed in the country as the U.S. imperialist aggression army. The Biden administration must immediately resign, taking responsibility for all the sabotage, massacre, and plunder in Afghanistan. And the U.S. imperialist aggression army, the source of war,